Hello there, everyone. This is Soul Silver 17 here. Let me get through this like usual. I do not own this picture. This is not a paid video. Alright, okay. So, this is Static Shock. Quite a few of you know who he is. Not everyone does, which I'm not going to explain anything about him. I'm just going to say look him up for yourself because I don't want to ruin your experience. I did not look up anything on Death Battle about him. I will do that in a few minutes after I'm just gonna explain some stuff. Basically, Izuku's quirk is like statics, Virgil Hawkins, basically powers. But it's a weak one. It's a weaker version for right now. It's gonna get more powerful. Izuku doesn't go into UA, he goes to regular high school, people that have quirks and stuff, and he meets a best friend. He has a best friend basically. And, well, I'm gonna use the name of the best friend from the cartoon series, so I do not own that character's name or nothing. Alright? And, well, what's gonna happen also is some villains are coming in that are, from the anime series. Well, not the anime, the cartoon version that I know. I watched since I was a kid. I'm making my own story. Also, I don't know, I watched the series, I haven't watched it in a long time, but the whole entire static personality, I haven't read the comics either, so I don't really know it. But I'm making Izuku just have the powers, not the personality. So please understand that I'm gonna make him say some cringy stuff, so it's not like, so you guys understand. He doesn't have his personality. He doesn't have Virgil's personality. He has Izuku's personality and the way he's gonna do. He's gonna be afraid going into these fights because he doesn't have the confidence boost. So he's gonna make like what Spider-Man does, the quips, the jokes that I'm gonna do. And yeah, hopefully you guys understand that. So, thank you for if you do. But anyways, before we get in, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna get my book to write in. I'm gonna make a drink, lemonade, and probably make some popcorn. And you're gonna hear noises from my dad because he's awake and he's in pain like all nights. So hold on, everyone. All right, I'm back, everyone. I have the abilities and what Static Shock could do. So yeah, since I didn't make the popcorn, but I made a drink, and it's almost gone already. I don't really drink enough fluids, basically, like water, soda. I can go without having any like water for like a day, and it's weird. But yeah, anyways. I got all the powers and powers and what it can do. I haven't looked at the front yet, but I thought I just would start right now. Alright, so, like I explained earlier, Deku's quirk, it's called static. No, it's called shock, because that's all he can do. He can basically make like just enough like electricity go through his hands and shock people. That's it. Nothing big. But that purple gas that's gonna be in it. If you've seen the cartoon, there was this purple gas that was in it. That's gonna be in here, but something else is gonna happen. So electricity is gonna mix with it though, and Izuku's gonna be, well, not the only one that gets affected by it. And there's gonna be a few villains, well, a few people that, like I said, who will become the villains from the series. So yeah, anyways, let's get into this what if. Sorry for me rambling on. Anyways, this is what if Izuku had Static Shock's powers. Okay, so for this to work, I'm gonna have to change Hasashi. Well, no, I'm gonna make Inko have electrical abilities. You know, she'll have static. I mean, she'll have shock. The electrical quirk, basically. As Izuku, when he goes to the court doctor, they find out he has a quirk. It's his mother's. His mother's quirk can do a lot more than his. But she says basically, he's just happy to have a quirk, and he's just, gonna try as hard as he can to be, basically have work with it. So his mother teaches him, but they find out his quirk is somehow very weaker than hers, which is very strange. But throughout the years, Izuku keeps training his quirk, and well, his body, because he thought, hey, maybe it's my body, maybe it's not. I'm not strong enough to handle it. But no, it wasn't. Um, it's just he found out that his quirk is just really weak for some weird reason. They don't know why. They try everything besides one thing. They don't ever try to see if he can absorb electricity. Maybe that's why. But, they don't try it. Hasashi made a suggestion. Inko said no. She tried to absorb electricity one time. It did not work well for her. She's not going to have her son being put through that. She actually lost some nerves in her hand to feel pain because of it. So she doesn't want Zuku to go through that. So yeah. So basically, everything happens in canon. But Izuku never applied to UA. And, well, let's just say the school Virgil went to in the anime, not the anime, in the cartoon and in the books is in Japan too. So let me look it up. I had trouble finding the name of status, of the school in the TV show. So I think we're just gonna call it Detroit High. If that's the name of it, wow, I wasted so much time. But yeah, I don't know what's like the normal high school will be in My Hero Academia, so we're just gonna say the background information of the school is someone from Detroit came to Japan and built the school, and so yeah, he named it after his home, Detroit. So yeah, but anyways. So so Izuku doesn't really get picked on much in school throughout his life, but while Izuku, trains his quirk more, it comes to realize that it ain't gonna be, that's what he realized, it ain't gonna be strong. So, yeah, he doesn't apply to UA, and the attack doesn't happen to him, because he has some friends, so they go and hang out. Someone else got attacked, and, well, that's what happens. And, well, yeah, I don't want to put him in UA, so vigilante, high school. Izuku is smart in this one, So after summer and him training his quirk, he goes to high school. And through his first year, since Baku's not around, he thinks, oh, I'm gonna be great. But no. He basically has a bully. This bully is, well, the same. Now, let's just say it's one of Baku's friends, but he dyed his hair basically just like the guy from the TV series. Hold on, I'm trying to think of which bully it would be. I meant Dakota High. I said Detroit. I was trying to read so much, trying to find the name of the school that I just, yeah. So my apologies. It's Dakota High, basically. But yeah, let's just say one of the goons had a fire quirk named Francis Stone. That was one to help a friend of Bakugo that picked on Izuku. And what happens is that it basically, was a pretty rough time. And, well, no one really. Some people try to stick up to Izuku, for Izuku, namely a guy named Richard Foley. He basically always helped out Izuku, when he needed it and such. And so did Izuku. They basically became best friends real quick. Inko, is proud. Hisashi is overseas though. She's proud her son found a friend. And well, what happens next is, well, during basically a field trip. This is where we're starting our story. Really. On this field trip, Izuku and Richie go in, basically on the bus, and they start chatting. They're saying they're going to Richie says, Izuku, can you believe it? We're going to a science lab to see what they're working on. It's been on the news, based online, and even some of the reporters have basically did some stories on it. And Izuku basically says, really? What is it? And let's just say it's it has a lab, but it has a name before it. Say it's the can't think of a name. You guys can make up a chain for it. But let's just say the Suka lab. Not the Suka. The Hiyashami. No. The Yarozu Labs. Yo, I just thought that, yeah, because Momo's parents, do work on quirk, and basically they do a whole bunch of stuff. Along with, they do have they quirk support. Basically they help out. So yeah, that's what happens. Basically. And he was like, whoa, really? Yeah, roses? I heard they built a lot of different support items for heroes. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot you're a hero nerd. He was like, yeah, I wanted to become a hero, Reggie, remember? He was like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad. But your quirk's kind of useful if you really think about it. But then he goes, it's just shock. I can't really do nothing else. It was really, you really can't, just disturb basically the grip on someone's basically shoes. Say someone who can climb on walls. You can't disturb their ability to grip with using electricity that you can just put onto it. It was like, nope, I already tried everything my mom could do, to work on her quirk. It doesn't work for me. And it was like, well, we'll figure out what you and me. I promise you that. If we can, figure it out, then there has to be another way. If your mom can't do it, he goes, thanks, Reggie. You're always, the best friend a guy could have. And they do a little handshake, and he goes, no problem, man. So yeah. So basically, Izuku and Richie just chatting away. And Francis is just talking with his friends and saying how he's gonna pick on Izuku. But reality, Francis isn't really. Well, I'm just making it. Francis doesn't hate Izuku that much, really. Truthfully, he's just. Now that he sees Izuku and not hanging out with Bakugo, he doesn't know how to apologize. What I'm trying to do is, this is gonna be a sort of a villain that doesn't hate what he doesn't know as basically the hero, and he tries to make up for it. But one of the guys saying, "Why do you hate Izuku so much?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I mean, you pick on him and such for like it's been like basically like 4 months now of after when we came into freshman, and for some weird reason it doesn't look like you hate him that much. So why do you pick on him?" And he was, "I don't know. I'm just used to it. Bakugo, like he's not around. I mean, honestly, maybe you can become friends with him and Richie too." Hold on, everyone. All right, so my dad's door is open, so I'm trying to stay away from the sound. So yeah, but basically, Francis just says, "All right, I'll try. I'll try to make it up to him." I mean, he's seems a little bit different though. I mean, he's not really all that afraid. I mean, back in middle school, Bakugo used his quirk on him, and and then Deku just freaking used his quirk on him too. I mean, he shot Bakugo, which paralyzed him for a little bit, and that was it. I mean, he was able to get away half the times from us, but I mean, I kind of liked the guy, truthfully, for that. He basically gave me respect because he fought Bakugo when I was too scared. He goes, "Yeah, I mean, really, yours is just a flame quirk and you were scared of Bakugo?" He goes, "Remember, he had explosions. Nitroglycerin? Dude, have you not read up on that? That guy wanted to become a hero, and yet though he's a walking bomb. If he's too, like, not careful enough." And they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember that in science class. Wait, are you?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm secretly smart. You got a problem with that?" He's like, "No, no, 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 Francis, we don't have a problem." So yeah, so basically, when they arrive at the laboratory, the lab, the scientist, says, "Hello there. I am Mr. Hiyosho, and I'm gonna, take you around and show you the facility, even a top secret area where we have the generator, you know, near basically to show you how we run our own like electricity in this building." And so, they get a whole entire tour. They see what they do here, like how they create new support items, what they do basically with it, how they test it out. They even see basically the inner workings of the labs, which Francis actually kind of likes. He truthfully wanted to try to work in a support course, but the thing was his grades were lacking and he couldn't get into UA. And so that was the reason why he didn't try. Also, he had a bad attitude, and Bakugo was gonna go there, so he didn't want to run in with the same crowd as him. So that was Francis's reason. And well, let's just say the generator that they're working on is a new, highly in development generator. And Izuku basically, leaves the group and tries to go use the bathroom. Francis, follows after him. Richie, is basically just saying, "All right, man, see ya," before he left. So yeah, so Francis, follows him, because he had to go too, and well, when Izuku gets to the bathroom, a few minutes later, Francis gets there. They both do what they do, and after they came out of the stalls, Izuku basically sees Francis, and Francis says, "Sup?" And Izuku says, "Hi? Are you gonna beat me up or something?" He was like, "Nah, I'm not." He goes, "What?" It was, "I'm gonna stop bullying you." He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Did you find a new target?" He was like, "No." "Look, man, I'm sorry for what I did." And they're washing their hands. He's just saying, "If I could take it all back, I would." So, here's the thing. Um, you can. I mean, I want to know if me and the guys can hang out with you and Richie, basically getting to know you guys better, and then I'll try to repay anything that I did that you find was too cruel to you. Since we started for 4 months, I mean, bullying you, and heck, I'll even tell the teacher, and even the principal, and get suspended. Izuku, looks at him after while he's watching his game. He's like, "Really? You would tell the principal?" He's like, "Yeah." Look, I just picked on you because of Bakugo. I'm so used to it. So, honestly, I have nothing against you. I actually kind of have some respect for you. You were able to go against Bakugo and get away from us like 50 times already. Out of 2 years, 50 times getting away from us. You know how freaking gutsy that is. I mean, your shock ability is. I mean, your shock quirk is very, very good. Very strong, actually. Stronger than probably mine. And Izuku says, not really compared to my mom's. She can actually magnetize stuff to somewhere else. Me, I could just shock people. It's kind of like if I became the hero, I'll be called Static. And they both have a laugh. Yes, I did do a foreshadow when he's gonna realize it. I don't care. He is gonna be. He's not gonna. He doesn't. He's basically gonna. As soon as he finds out, I'm basically making him kind of get like a redemption arc. So yeah, hate me if you guys want that. If I've spoiled it, but I'm not gonna say when. So figure that out. I'm just joking. I'll tell you when. When I'm making the episode, when that will happen. But yeah. So basically, though, Izuku and him just having a laugh, and they say, "So friends ish." Izuku says, "Friends," and then all of a sudden the alarm goes off. While they were in the bathroom, someone snuck into the laboratory. Some villain, and well, was hired to basically hijack the the generator, which is a high power one that can make basically enough electricity to basically run about the whole entire city. So basically, it has like a lot of voltage in it, and well, what happens next is after he basically got the whole entire system broken down and the generator becoming unstable, he gets out of there. Like someone saw him and they evacuated the whole entire building, but he knew basically he also then even had like another area with bombs planted in a highly unstable chemical facility, like area where they're just trying to dispose of a basically I mean, a basically a gas that is highly dangerous and highly basically would destroy anyone, like kill most people. Some people like it was trying to help out with enhancing quirks, but to for people with weaker ones, but it killed them. Like they they did not test it on humans, but it killed most animals. So they tested it out in simulations, and it wasn't good. So they're getting rid of it. So he put bombs in there, and as soon as he gets enough distance, he blows it up. And the he blows it up. The purple smoke is basically like coming around. People are getting out of there. Like people getting out of there. Richie kind of had a intelligence quirk. He was somewhat intelligent, but not intelligent enough to get into UA or try to use his intelligence for anything in particular. So he breathes in a little bit of smoke, but not enough to affect him. But you know, so he's going like, "Where's Virgil?" And he goes, "Where's Francis?" You know, when the bully says, which they got out of the building and they're getting a far away distance. Like the teachers, like and the scientists already called the cops and the firemen. So basically, what happens next is though, Francis and Zuko are trying to get out. They're in the smoke. They're having a hard time seeing, and the generator is basically overloading. And Francis says, "Izuku, we gotta get out of here." Because Francis, what do you mean? He was like, "Come on, I know it's hard to see, but we gotta go." And they're trying to find the exit, at least a exit. But the generator's overloading, overpowering very quickly. So by the time Francis and Izuku find an exit, it blows up, which Izuku and Francis are caught in an explosion. The gas they were breathing, they were starting to feel a little bit of the pain, and then all of a sudden the explosion happens. The electricity in it starts to basically mix and stabilize it, changing its property. Basically, whoever there were still even some scientists that did not get out. Well, actually, there's also another group of kids too, but in a different part of the wing, which they got affected by it, and well, now they are basically changing too. Which the people who aren't, there are a few people who are dead, But then there are a few people who weren't. They were just in the middle of getting the pain and transforming, basically turning into and dying. Basically, they were just starting the process, which then when it exploded, it stabilized. It basically made a big giant explosion of electricity going throughout the whole entire area of the facility. Basically, this was a pretty big one. So yeah. So what happens next is the rubble, comes onto Izuku, Francis, and other kids. They're not important. They were from a different high school. And, well, what happens next, though, is after, Izuku sees Francis, and Francis says, "Hey, Izuku, you still awake?" And it passes out. What happens to Izuku, though, he says, "No, Francis, it can't be crushed." And all of a sudden, he starts to feel weird and different. And then all of a sudden, he blanks out, but he also sees a big explosion. Well, he sees a bright light coming off of his hands. And then nothing. Alright, everyone. I am in my room now with my fan on. My dad is downstairs. So, yeah. And I got popcorn. I'm gonna pause it and eat it whenever I can. So that way you guys don't have to hear me eat, which will be rude. So anyways, so yeah. So after that light happens, Izuku wakes up in the hospital. And he's wondering what the heck just happened. Which a nurse came in and she says, Doctor, he's awake. And so what happens next is Izuku basically is, the doctor comes in and checks him out, seeing everything's fine. He thinks it's amazing that Izuku was able to, not be hurt by anything. The rubble, it seemed like it was all, stopped. And he goes, "What happened to my Francis?" And they said, he's alright, but his quirk, it seemed to basically get stronger. I mean, he was already pretty strong with it already, but it got even stronger now. Which is because what? Francis comes in and his hair basically was black, but now it's red and yellow. He goes, "Yo, Izuku, seems like seems like you're awake, huh?" And they say, "Hey, you're supposed to." He goes "What do you mean? I'm supposed to stay in my room, not see my friends, alright? Also, Richie's here for you. They wouldn't let you see. They wouldn't let him see you. Also, your mom. I'll go tell them you're alright. Okay?" He goes, "Yeah, thanks, Francis." There's no problem. And so, Izuku, waits a few minutes. Richie and Inko comes in. Hasashi heard about he's basically about to he's basically on the way now home, since how long he's been basically passed out. They say, "You've been unconscious for about 2 days." He goes, "2 days? Really, Richie?" He goes, "Yeah. You feeling okay? Anything weird?" He's like, "No. Nothing's wrong. I feel fine." And the lights start to go off. Are starting to flicker and off and on, which surprising, everyone. Francis is not there, so he's he can't see, but the whole entire building is going off, basically. And he's which Zuko was like, "What the?" As for some reason Izuku gets near a machine as electricity is going right into him, which Inko says, "Izuku, what's happening?" He was like, "I don't know. It's just what's going on?" And well, then it stops. Electricity stops going in him, and he's just alright. Inko's kind of freaking out. She asks him if he's okay, if his hand hurting, is anything bothering him. He was like, "No, nothing hurts. I feel a little bit more powerful, actually." So yeah, the doctors, even saw this and says, all right, we're gonna have to do some tests. So they test out about his quirk, which the doctor doesn't want to reveal it just yet. He wants to see this. So Izuku basically, oh, have popcorn in my teeth. Sorry. Uh, so Izuku is like asked to do some things to certain metals, as he's able to bend them and twist them around, even hold up metals and move them around and just pull them to him. Like, it's very strange to the doctor and everyone else. And so what happened next is that they have Izuku going on like on a metal like trash can, as then he's able to like put electricity on it and just start flying around with it, which shocks Inko. She goes, "What the? He wasn't able to do all this. How?" And the doctor, basically as soon as Izuku lands, and he basically comes over to Izuku, and Richie's not there, but Inko is. He basically has Inko come with him as they go over to Izuku basically, and he says, "Young is Midoriya. How can I say this? Your quirk seems to not be there anymore, but the power you have, power is there. I think your quirk, because of the purple gas that was affecting the area, along with the electrical disruption, explosion that from the generator caused, electrified the atoms and the chemicals in the purple gas that you and your friend Francis absorbed, and evolved your quirks beyond anything. Multiple generations, it seems like. Your quirks technically are not quirks no more. There are physical powers. You don't have no quirk. You're not quirkless though. You have power. And this is astonishing. If society found out about this, you may be put as lab rats. So always, keep this a secret. Don't only trust people that you could trust. Alright, young man. And Izuku nods. And so, the doctor tells him he can go. Francis and him, just come out along with Izuku's mom. Francis did tell Inko that he was one of the bullies that picked on him in middle school. And, Bakugo was one of them too. Which Mitsuki kind of was... Inko and Mitsuki's relationship was kind of iffy. And she says she knows, and he goes like, oh, did he tell you everything? And, Inko says, of course. I always knew when my son was hurt, and I always asked. He basically tells me everything. And he goes, yeah, I kind of forgave him. And, not entirely. Still working on it, though. He goes like, yeah, kind of bullied him even during the 4 months. But I'm done with that now. So, do you and Richie want to hang out later today? Or no? We'll just want to go home and sleep. As he just says, I got a lot of stuff to, figure out. And he was like, alright. So, Izuku and Inko talk. He texts Richie and just says he's gonna, call him later. Him and his mom gonna have to talk. So yeah, so that's what happens. Inko, when they get back to the house, Inko talks to Izuku, saying, alright, so, do you want to go to UA? And Izuku goes, what? Do you want to go to UA? She asks. He goes, Mom, I can. She says, well, technically, since you can try next year. And he goes, Mom, I'm not going to go to UA. She goes, what? But you want to be a hero? He goes like, yeah, but there is another line of work I can do by being a hero. She goes, no, you are not becoming a vigilante. He goes, Mom, it's going to be sort of easy. Look at me, who's going to suspect a guy with a weak quirk suddenly gain all this power, basically, going out and being a vigilante? If you really think about it, some of the heroes actually do a lot more damage than saving people. You know, so I mean, with my abilities, with my powers, I'm able to stop that. I could be able to even lift up rubble. Heck, I'm able to do some stuff that you probably wouldn't even think of doing now. She goes, alright, alright, alright. But first, we are buying certain clothing for your hero outfit. And also, maybe even change your hair a little bit. And Zuko was like, what do you mean? So, well, Inko and him go online, and they buy like the boots, the jacket, the gloves, the pants, the belt, and the shirt, along with the mask and the basically the sunglasses, but the glasses. Basically, Inko had to like try to, Inko basically they only had to wait like 2 to 3 days for all of this. So Izuku was able to get off from school for that. Like I said, like a week to recover. The principal understood. Yeah, Rosu's had to basically pay for like a lot of freaking um, funerals. That's what they said they would. So yeah, while the 10 basically while that is happening, Momo was kind of upset. People at school were kind of giving her a weird look, but they know it's not their fault. Like it was like told that someone sabotaged the area because they found basically bombs, and there was like a recording of someone sabotaging the generator. So like they found like residue of a bomb. So yeah. But still, security was supposed to be high. This villain had a court that was easily able to get into the Yarozu's facility. So yeah. So basically, Inko and Izuku work on the hero costume. She even gets the whole entire, like Izuku basically starts drawing something, and he starts work. He's thinking of electricity, and he's thinking of maybe he should do basically a symbol for it, and I'm having it. That's what he's working on. So he comes up with this design. But Richie, he did called up Richie after the talk. Richie, he told him about what him and Inko's doing after the whole time, buying stuff too. Which Richie says, yeah, I think you become a hero. He goes, really? He goes, yeah. I mean, dude, your power. I mean, if you're saying what is true, you gotta show me though. So, they go to Dekada Beach. All Might did not went with Mirio, but let's just say Dekada Beach, they did not clean up. There was another beach. So Izuku and Richie go over to Dekada Beach, and what happens next is Izuku, like, this is like the next day. Izuku's basically using his electrical abilities to basically pull and push, trash away. Heck, he's even able to like throw it up into outer space if you ever wanted to. And then he uses basically plasma coils to basically pull some stuff. Heck, there was actually a dumpster nearby, so that's what he's doing. He's basically moving it over. And then Richie finds a weird looking thin like disc. And it's made of metal too. So he says, yo, Izuku, catch. As he throws it, and Izuku sees it, he was like, huh. It's white, basically. He was like, what do you think this is made of? Hey, I mean, Richard just says, hey, my dad, knows metals. I mean, he basically was a welder, so maybe he can tell us. Anyways, let's clean this up, basically. And he goes, yeah. And so, what happens is, he basically makes like a ball and then throws it, as then it suddenly explodes. He goes, whoa, that was pretty cool. He was like, yeah. Do you think? Nah. Is what? He says, you think I should name that? He goes, I don't know. So they come up like saying, how about the static burst? Nah. The electrical fried? Richie says, like, no. So they, spit out a few names, and he says, ooh, how about the Nova burst? And Richie says, yeah, that's a good one. So, they they just coming up with. I mean, they just like cleaned it up in about a couple of hours. So yeah. So then they take the metal, basically plate, the thin metal, along with them, and they go to Richie's house, which was on the way back. Which when they get back to Richie's place, and Richie's father is not the same in the TV show Status Shock. He's totally different. He's way nicer, and So yeah, basically he goes, "Hey Dad," he goes, "Yes, Richie, can you tell us about this metal?" And whatever metal it is from the TV show, it basically is so in this. So yeah. So after that, so basically during those few days of waiting for the stuff to come in, Izuku has been making designs, and he came up with this idea. And so like he's also been hanging out with Francis. Francis has been hanging out with Richie. They're all becoming good friends. But Richie says that if they hear anything about him on the news, it's not the whole entire truth. They're like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Well, a couple of guys I know from a different school, they're kind of, well, not forced me to do something, but kind of threatened me to do something." And Izuku goes like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Look, they're making me rob a place, and I don't know what to do. I don't have, and plus I have to get it. I have to do it like tomorrow night. I mean, man, this just stinks. I mean." So he goes, "Alright, maybe I can help." And he goes, "No, Izuku, it's fine. Just know that no one knows the truth besides you guys. So I'm not trying to bail on you guys, and when we're just trying to make a friendship. So look, just stay safe out there, guys. I gotta go." And yeah. So Francis is becoming a villain. He's, when he leaves, they heard on the news like a couple hours. They hear a report. Well, Izuku hears a report on a guy with a flame manipulation quirk, basically robbing a couple of places, and he's getting away. And Izuku, which Richie finds, he goes, "Izuku, what's wrong?" He was like, "Nothing. I just thought I heard something." He's like, "What?" He says like, "It's a radio wave basically, and it sounds like from the cops." Which Richie says, "Yo, man, Zuko, seems like you have a, like you can basically have a wavelength tuner or something. Basically, you can hear the wavelength of a of a radio." And then he was like, "Huh?" He says, "Yeah, try it." As he puts it against his hand against his ear, and then he kind of moves like if it's like a dial around it. He doesn't move his ear, just his hand. As then like he's actually hearing different stations. He was like, "Yeah, huh. Seems like I don't need headphones or anything to basically get free music." And he was like, "Wow, lucky you." So yeah. So basically that happens. Inko gets all this out, all this stuff like over the days. Then when the shirt comes in, it does have like that little, you know, blue around it too. She goes over to a friend's place. I mean, she knows a person that does like the design. So Izuku shows it, and well, yeah, he does the design for it. And that's how basically the Static Shock costume comes in. And she goes, "So, what's your hero name gonna be, son?" Well, not hero name, your vigilante name is gonna be. He goes like, "Huh, how about Static Shock?" Like he came up with that because of the name, like he said to Francis in the bathroom. And so maybe he's thinking if Francis, is a villain, maybe he can, see me as a hero to rely on me for help if he needs it. And the friends that, Francis has, Izuku doesn't know, these guys are, like, you'll find out, but these guys are, like, rich and they don't care about nothing. So, yeah, I'm just gonna say, spoiled and corrupt. That's all. So, yeah, anyways, as Francis is, on the run, causing even more problems for the law. But anyways, this is a weekend where Izuku goes out and does a patrol of Tokyo, basically the whole entire city. And all of a sudden, like, he just tuned into the radio waves to hear, like, what's happening. And then, like, Izuku does see, like, a car, like, riding away from a place that when the cops are chasing them. As Izuku just, like, flies down on his flying saucer, basically. And the guys are there. He was like, basically, the car just suddenly stops. As basically, he just lifts it up and then flips it over. Basically, and puts it on, like, the bottom, on the top of the hood. And the car hood, basically. The roof of the hood, like, on the ground. And the guys are like, what the? How did this happen? And the cops get them. Gets to the vehicle and says, freeze! As the guys' quirks aren't going to be useful for the situation, so they surrender. As no one knows what happened, but, a person did, like, catch a video of that happening. Of Izuku, what he did. And just flying off away. And throughout the whole entire city, and the whole entire day of him just searching for Francis, he's like he stops like multiple crimes. Heck, he even pinned someone to a wall and just leave him there. And he was like, hey, let me down. He goes, nope. He was like, who are you? Some type of new hero? He was like, you can say that. He goes, but why did you do to me? And he goes, nothing. I just put a shock to your system. I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry. But, because he can't move. He's, like, stuck to a wall. So, God, I'm terrible. I'm so terrible. But at the same time, it's just gonna be cringy. I forgot to put a cringe warning on this. Crud. It's already 47 minutes in. 47 minutes and 26 seconds. Oh well. Anyways, as basically this was like one robber, just one robbing of basically a convenience store. As people see it, people are just starting to like posting it on the freaking internet. As Izuku just able to like flying away, cops are not getting around. Heck, in the matter of hours and minutes, like people are just seeing random crimes like being stopped by this one guy, and basically, it's like how he's flying. It's like really fast, and heck, it's so weird. One guy loses power in his car, and Izuku just goes in and energizes it. Tells him to basically turn it on because he ran out of juice and the battery. As then he does, he goes, "Whoa, thanks. Who are you?" I was like, "The name's Status Shock. Nice to meet you." He was like, "Thanks. Basically, I had to get this stuff to my job, and you just saved the day. Thanks, man." He goes, "No problem." And he just leaves. And so, people are calling it, like, the police find out about this. Hero Society finds out about this. Basically, the whole entire, like, even the mayor of Tokyo finds out about him. And, well, they don't know what his game is. And so, during this time period, he's basically been scouting the whole entire city throughout, like, a whole day. There's even a burning building happening, and Izuku just, like, did get, like, a haircut, like, had his hair changed, being, like, a broccoli head to be different. So, yeah. So, basically what happens is, he goes into a burning building with a, basically, energy a plasma, oh god, an energy barrier, and basically goes into the fire, and some reason, like, he's hearing like some people cry, as then he basically he goes and flies in and finds them, as then he tells them to basically get on that bed frame and everything else. As there was like 4 people, so they get on it. As Izuku basically has it with like the plasma coil, and then he basically shoots it with a force bolt, like hitting the wall and exploding, which the firemen are like in there just trying to stop it. But they see that, they're like, wonder what the, as Izuku comes flying out of the with the people that were trapped inside, which were the only people that were trapped inside, and he puts them on the ground. He goes like, "Is everyone all right? Is anyone else in there?" And they say, "No, it was just us. Thank you." And basically, it was just a family of 4. So they're thanking him enough. He goes, "It's no problem. I'm just doing my job. That's all." As comes into the saying, "Freeze! Put your hands in the air." As Zuko just says, "I mean, do you really want me to freeze? Come on. I just saved some people, and look. I mean, I could probably also help too with this." He goes, "How?" As basically then, like, Izuku, like, goes flying up in the air, and there's the fire hydrant, basically, they're having troubles, like, getting to the fire. Getting to it, I mean, the firefighters are trying, like, having troubles getting to it. Hey, there's people with quirks, are trying to stop it. Izuku basically just shoots it with a force bolt. Basically, he shoots out the bolt of lightning. As it, does go, like, water starts coming out, and then he just used the saucer and direct the freaking, like, water, as it just, like, a big rush of it just going into, like, the fire, extinguishing it, like, in a matter of minutes along with the help of it. As then he basically, closes it with, with his power. He goes, "See? I'm the good guy here. See ya." And, he just flies away. As the officer that was with the guy just says, "Hey, should we, call this in?" He goes, "Nah. He's been helping out the city all day. Have you seen the, reports of him? He's just doing it for no reason. He's just helping out. I mean, he doesn't even have a license, it seems like. It's maybe just a vigilante, but I don't know. Mayor, we have to go to a chief. Then he's gonna have to talk to the mayor about this." He goes, "Yeah." So that's what they do. But Izuku's flies all day around, and he doesn't find anything. He goes home. He basically travels home, but he had like basically he goes in an alleyway near his house, and wow, what happens is he changes. He actually had a bag stashed there with his real clothing, and that's what happens. And then he comes out of the alleyway. He basically made sure there was no one around when he flew into the alleyway and changed. So yeah. But anyways, he gets home, and Inko asks how is he. Hisashi came home. I forgot to mention that. He's been like, he asks Izuku and Inko explain what's happening. Hisashi kind of supports it, kind of doesn't. He doesn't want Izuku to get hurt and stuff. But after seeing what Izuku could do on social media, on the news, which was reported him, he's pretty impressed by him. He goes, "Good job, son. I mean, but you still have to train with your powers." And he goes, "Yeah, Richie and me have been coming up with ideas what we can do." So, anyways, I'm gonna, basically, I'm just hungry. I haven't eaten since breakfast. She goes, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Inko's just going right away. Just starts cooking." And that's what happens. Like, they eat, and while him and his family are talking, they go to the cops go to the police chief. The police chief, has the mayor on video chat, basically, and he goes, "So, this, Static Shock guy, that people, like, that one guy tweeted him about, I think, some form of Twitter will be there, so, some for a social media site, so let's say, like, a different, like, a rename of Twitter, basically. Don't own Twitter, nothing, so yeah. But, so, he says, well, he hasn't caused no problems, he hasn't done any damage. I mean, the fire hydrant, he basically shut off the top of it and then closed it back up afterwards, right? And, the cops are there, and he goes, "Yeah, he did." He goes, "Seems like he's doing less damage than natural pros. I mean, he just appeared out of nowhere. It's probably just a rookie, but still. The heroes are probably, gonna get after him. So let's see how he does in the next couple of weeks. If he causes mass destruction, then he's a dangerous threat to us and to everyone else." But, then the chief says, well, his power is based off of lightning, like electricity. So he can probably cause a short circuit. I mean, short circuit in the power system. That may be like permanently out for a couple of days or like minutes, and basically the mayor agrees. So he says, well, then we just try to figure out a way how to counteract his power, so that way it doesn't happen to the city. And they go, all right. So that happens. And well, so basically, what the next day though is we're going back to school, and Richie, when Izuku and comes out to school, Richie just saying, he goes, hey Izuku, I've been thinking about it the whole entire power. Maybe we can invent some stuff that can work with it. Because really, he's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, we can try to figure out something that can work. And just maybe, you can use it. So, why not, right? He goes, yeah. Anyways, so the school day is going normal. There is gonna be a lunch. This is only gonna be like a one ship. It's not. I'm not gonna go with two. Girls. It's just gonna be a one thing. So yeah. But anyways, this is where though I'm gonna no I have to basically have Francis and him fight. So basically Francis, during the school day, Francis does come back, and he comes back and he's causing problems. Like he's starting to use his quirk. Fire basically is happening. Izuku did bring the stash shot outfit with him, and what happens is that Izuku basically goes into like gets it ready and stuff, and he comes out flying out of nowhere. Like he ran away because people were running out of the building. Cops came in, and so while that was happening, while Francis was coming in, because the guys told him to find this one person that was going against them, and so what happens is that Francis, found the guy. He goes, sorry, but they make me do this, and he goes, what do you mean they? He goes, he goes, as in the guy says, wait, you mean, as in Izuku says, hey, get away from him. It's basically he just shoots a force bolt at him, and it goes flying and hits him. He sends him flying. Basically, he's like, and basically who are you? And he sees the symbol. He was like, your status shock, and he was like, yeah, I put a shock to your system. Get it? He goes, yeah, I get it. So why you're here to stop me? I was like, I've been looking for you since yesterday. He goes, what do you mean? He was like, well, a little friend of yours told me. I mean, basically, I flew around I started doing my vigilante work yesterday, and he found me. He saw some people, making some new discovery of a hero, and he saw me flying around, and he got my attention. He told me about your situation, man. Come on, tell me. He goes, no way. I won't say nothing to you. As he goes, come on. We don't have to fight about this, man. We can just talk like this. But no, I have to do what they say, or they're gonna. Basically, he just shuts it. He goes like, what do you mean? He goes like, it's nothing. Just get out of my way before I have to fight you and hurt you. He goes, sorry, I can't. As basically electricity comes off of his hands. As he goes, fine then. As basically, wait, hold on. So basically though, Izuku and Francis fight, and he goes like, so, what's your name, huh? I mean, besides your name being Francis, what's your villain name? He was like, Hot Streak. I came up with myself. How does it sound? He goes, it's basically, Izuku throws electricity at him, and Francis dodges it, throws a fireball. Izuku says it's nice, and then he dodges it, too, and then basically, Izuku's gaining the hang of his power pretty quickly. Actually, he's becoming more adapted to it.
And so what happens is that Francis basically and him are fighting throughout the school. Izuku basically, the cops, basically came in to see Izuku and him fighting. They don't interfere. Like, Izuku like doesn't have like trying to get like him. Basically, he thinks, hey, maybe water is his weakness and such. And so he's trying to lead Francis out of the way to like places of water, which he's not falling for it. He goes a different way, and Izuku falls, and he gets nearly attacked and hurt and such. And the cops like try to interfere, and he tell basically Francis throws like a wall of fire at them, and Izuku comes in and makes a wall of electricity, stopping it. As they say, thanks. He goes, no problem, officers, but you guys gotta have to get out of here. It's getting pretty dangerous and hot. And you're like, no, we can't. We have to do, all the students basically are, out of here, Izuku says basically. And he says, but he's not going anywhere with water. As an officers, but there's pipes out, outside that you can probably use for electricity. And use your, electricity, use the electricity that you have to basically, make it come up and use it, for water to attack him. And he goes, huh, thanks. It was, yeah, I'll just say it was my, basically problem. I suggested it to you, so don't worry. He was like, really? He goes, yeah. So, he calls in the chief. Like, he calls basically the chief up, and then the chief, like, what's wrong? He goes, status shock is firing off heat streak, basically, and, well, he's trying to lead him to water, basically, but he's too smart to follow him. So, I told him about the pipes that are near the school that he can probably use to, douse him with water to basically, keep him, basically fizzled out, and so there's gonna be a little bit of destruction by him. Blame it on me, Chief. He was like, we say it was like a situation where he could not avoid couldn't avoid it. So he was like, all right. So basically, Izuku leads him out, and and what happens is like he gets off the saucer, and Francis says, what's wrong? You can't find no water, so you have to leave me outside of the school. And he goes, well, there's no water I can use from the school, so I just had to leave it, take you outside. He goes, why? Because there's always water underneath the ground. And then he just shoots like electricity through the ground. Well, no, like through the pavement, and then like a metal pipe is starting to come out, and like it's like moving, and then he goes like, oh freak, Francis says, and then water comes down and hits him, making him not be able to use his fire powers. As Izuku walks over to him, and he goes like, "Ah, oh, that hurt a lot. It's like I lost this time. But I'll get you, Static. Got that?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll keep stopping you, friends. Heat streak." He was like, "Don't worry about me. You gotta take care of those guys. Since I'm gonna go to jail, they kind of, well, been trying to hurt my sister. So, I had no choice but to do what they want. And no one's gonna believe me because I became a villain because of them." As, well, Izuku says, "I'll make sure, you get justice." He goes, "Yeah, but being a villain is kind of fun, so, you know." As Izuku just says, "Well, see you later, Heat Streak." He just flies away. And it's on the news. The fight happened. The guys are just saying like, "I can't believe he actually, got caught." Well, he did, fulfill his end of the bargain. The guy knows now not to try to say anything about us again. Yeah, can't believe we actually, threatened his sister threatened his sister basically. As Izuku did find them, and well, because he knew no. Wait, so going back a little bit, Francis tells them their names, as Izuku already knows them. So basically, he found out their hangout spot. As basically then they hear their voices. As it's saying like Francis, Stone was arrested. So Francis Stones was arrested. The new villain that came out basically, and well, what happens next is, that's when they hear their voices, and he goes, "Well, look at you guys." And they're like, "Wait, who are you?" He was like, "Oh, the new hero." As then he just basically hits all three of them and starts levitating them. He goes like, "Status shock. No, you guys are coming with me." As basically he goes to the police station with them, as well. Francis was already in there, so some police officers come out. Some heroes are there too. As when he arrives, he says, "Hey, officers, got three high schoolers that needs to be arrested and charged." What do you mean? As then basically he plays the recorder, and basically they arrest the guys, and he hands it to like the police chief came out because he saw him. As then he hands the police chief the recorder, and these guys are rich, but because they have solid evidence, he basically, Izuku says, make some copies of that. Also, make sure that, they don't get out whatever they do. Alright, as the police chief nods. So, what happens next? Well, after that, Izuku goes back to the school, and he basically was in a janitor's closet he came out of, like he went into and hid. And just to change, and he comes back out of it. Everyone, basically talking about it. School's out for a couple of days, and that's it. For that. Well, that's it for that. And oh yeah, they also heard in the news, like after the 2 days later, that the kids were charged and are going to jail. No amount of money the family had would ever do anything. So yeah. So that's the end of this. What if? And I do guys hope you enjoy it. It's a little bit weird. I try to think of the story, but it was hard to think about. So a little bit harder, like hard to think about, anyways. So I do hope you guys enjoy it. Tell me you guys about it, and yeah. So bye everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. Bye.